There's a couple of directions I was thinking about going today, timer. There's a couple of directions I was thinking about going today. But there's a couple of things that's in this passage that I really want to talk about. So I guess the title for this is, why would I hate on you when I have enough? Why would I hate on you when I have enough? I have what? Enough. I have enough. I have enough. I found in this time, in this day and age, in this moment in our history, to have a sickness. That sickness seems to be looking at what everybody else has and wanting that. Looking at what somebody else has and wanting what? That. And wanting that. It was harder when I was young. It wasn't that much harder, but it was harder. Because all you could really see was the people that you would see around you, right? So you could see someone else with a nice car. You might see somebody else with nice clothes. But it wasn't really that you were comparing yourself with the people of the world. You were really just comparing yourself with, at most, what, people in your neighborhood? People that were kind of around you? But in today's society, with Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, and with us being so connected, it's also easy for us to get lost in what everybody else has. And what everybody else has. It's easy for me to say, I'm happy because I have this car. And then I have this car. And I'm driving it around. But then I go onto Facebook and I see my friend, he got a car about the same time as me, but his car is way nicer than my car. So I was content with my car, but now I'm not content because I see that he has a car that's nicer than mine. Yeah. I was happy with, let's say, my girlfriend or my wife. But then I saw that there are these other pretty women. And I say, oh, well, man, I was content with you, but now I see that this other female is far prettier than you. In this society, I have noticed that we have a real illness with comparing ourselves to other people, and usually we come up short. We usually come up short. Have you ever heard that term, the grass is not greener on the other side? It seems like it's greener on the other side. It seems like when you look at a person's life from the outside, they have everything. But it only takes a couple of moments of actually being with them or in their actual life to discover that they're just as lost as you are.
That's true.
I may have more money. Give you an example. I was talking with my barber just a couple of days ago. I was getting my hair cut. See, kind of clean, huh? Kind of clean. And my barber and she was like, how's your day? How are you doing? And I said, man, I'm really tired. I've been doing a lot of overtime at work. And my barber says, well, that's good because you're making a lot of money. And she goes, I do a lot of time here at the barber shop because I'm trying to make what? More money. I'm trying to make money. Money. This is really where this sermon comes from, is this conversation with my barber. And I said to the barber, you know, after thinking about it for a moment, I said, you know what? Money is good to have. We have a little motorcycle rally outside, I guess. Money is good to have, right? I mean, it's good to have money so that you can buy things that you want or buy things that you need. It's nice to have money, right? Right? It's nice to have money. But I've sat with people in a hospital as they were dying.
Yeah.
Right? In those dying moments, you really get to, it clarifies the mind as to what's important in life. In the end, I've sat with family members that are losing loved ones in the next room. I've sat in funerals. Matter of fact, we were just at a funeral. And I've sat with grieving families. And I've sat with them and I've talked to them about their grief. And you know what I've never heard? I've never heard not one dying person, not one person losing a family member, not one person that's lost a loved one. I've never heard them say, I wish that person made more money. I've never sat with a dying person and she said, you know what, Reverend Gray, I wish I had made just $50 more. You ever heard that?
No.
No one ever says that. Then no one ever says, I wish I had made more money. What they really say is, I wish what? I had spent more time with my family.
Yeah.
I wish that I had seen that it was so important to spend time with my kids. Or the family member might say, I wish I had mended the large gap that was between me and my dad. I wish I had mended that. Now that he's passed away, I don't have that opportunity to mend that fence, to put that back together. What I'm saying is, when you really look at it, the concepts of it, it's time spent with family and friends and loved ones that is the most important aspect of your life.
That's true. Say it again. For real.
But time spent with family and loved ones usually isn't what we covet over, right? We're not looking at someone and going, man, that guy's spending a lot of time with his kid. I'm going to spend time with my kid. No, what are we really coveting over? Stuff. The stuff of things. How much stuff does this person have? He has this, I must have this. He has that, I must have that.
Yeah.
And it is that covetousness over stuff that pushes us and drives us to make more what? Money.
Okay.
Now, am I saying money is bad? No. Absolutely not. Am I saying being rich is bad? No, not at all. It's not the fact that you have money. It's what you what? Do with the money.
Yeah.
Or what did you do to earn or get the money?
Yeah.
But the fact that you have money is not a bad thing. But would I choose money over spending time with my family?
No.
Sometimes yes, if I need to feed my family, right? If I need to feed them, then yeah, I'm going to get a job, right? I'm going to do what I need to do. But after that, it's time spent with family, loved ones, friends. I tell you what, my grandmother, a while ago, her and I, we got into an argument and we didn't talk for quite a while. And I mean, we didn't talk for a long time. Then, we had a scare and I thought she was going to die. And at that moment I realized the argument that we had wasn't as important, because if she had died at that moment, I would have missed all that time I could have spent with her. And at that moment, whatever I don't even remember what the argument was about, but that just felt so meaningless. To the fact that I needed a relationship to be mended with who? With her.
Yeah.
The time spent with her was more important than the argument that we had. Who was right, who was wrong, I don't even remember what the argument was about. Of course I'm going to say I was right. And of course she's going to say what? She was right. But that was years ago and I don't even remember. Now imagine if I was still angry at her. That was like, what, 10 years ago? Imagine if I was still angry at her. 10 years would have went by and I would have had no contact. She would have missed my family. She would have missed my birth, my children. Would have missed my marriage, my wedding. For what? So when we look at this here, there's two clauses here. There's an A clause and a B clause. The A clause is what I've been talking about. Let your conduct be without covetousness.
Yeah.
Be content with such things as you have. That's what I've been talking about so far. What I've been talking about is being happy with what you got. But Mr. Gray, but Pastor Gray, I don't have a lot. I understand. You don't have a lot. But looking back on it, in my life, when I didn't have a lot, it really clarified what I needed to do. I had clarity in those moments. When I was in college, I didn't have hardly anything. I literally rode a bicycle. Literally rode a bicycle to work, to class. I couldn't have enough money for a real bicycle, so I had a child's bicycle. That's what I could afford. I had $50, and the guy gave me a child's bicycle. People laughed at me on campus, at work, on the street. They said, look at this grown man riding what? A child's bicycle. I rode it in the rain. I rode it in the sun. I rode it. Now, I was talking to my wife a couple of days ago. Guess how many times I rode a bicycle now? Guess how many bikes I own right now? I don't own a bike at all. But for 3 years, until I caught pneumonia, I rode what? A bicycle. But you see, you would see, that was a bad time in my life, right? But see, I had clarity then. I was focused. It was a razor sharp focus. I had to go to work. I had to make money. I had to pay food. I was buying my mother's medicine at the time, and there was a lot of things that I had to do. It was not a lot of room for error.
Yeah.
It was actually one of the best times of my life when you really think about it. Times when I had nothing. It's times when I was able to call out to the Lord and say, Lord, give me the strength to what? Make it through. And somehow, I made it through.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't ride that child's bicycle for 3 years.
That's true.
So is it really that bad is the question. I know. You're saying, oh, it's horrible, it's this, it's that. But is it really that bad? Maybe it is. Maybe it's horrible. Maybe it's the worst thing that's ever happened to you. But I will tell you, you live through it, and you look back on it, and you will see the growth that came. Because growth comes out of what? Pain.
Yeah.
Growth comes out of pain. Growth comes out of suffering. It comes out of happiness too. It comes out of joy. But growth comes out of what? Pain. Why? Because how will you know that God is a comforter of pain if you never what? And then one day, I'm going to run into someone, and they're going to be riding a little child's bicycle, and people are going to be making fun of them, and they're going to be going to college, and I'm going to say, hey, baby, I rode a bicycle too, kid. When you get in your 30s, you're going to look back on those people that were laughing at you and say, what? I made it. What you got? But there's a B clause. See, we've been talking about the covetousness nature of ourselves. Me included. I mean, I'm quick to look on Facebook and say, man, look at this. Wow. Especially, look, I'll tell you right now, I'll tell you a little secret. I'll tell you a secret. I didn't know it, but I know it now, and I wish I didn't know it. Pastors look at other pastors. You have a church, you look at other pastors, and you call them on the phone, and you're like, hey, what's up? The first question they ask is, how many people you got?
Yeah.
I don't even answer that question anymore. I say, I have enough.
Yeah.
I have enough people between this and this. I got enough. And then they don't even ask anymore. But that's the first question. Because why? We want to know, right? Am I doing better than that guy? Is he doing better than me? What? It is the covetous nature that makes us unhappy most of the time. It is not the situation that we are in that's making us unhappy. It is the fact that we are not in a better situation, or the situation we think we should be in, that's making us what? Unhappy. If we can be content with right where we are, Even if where we are is in the middle of a storm, if we can be content there, then we will find not happiness, but what? Joy.
Yeah.
Because happiness comes and goes with the weather, but joy comes from the Lord. But that don't make sense. That doesn't make sense. You're telling me that even in the middle of pain and suffering, I'm going to be what? Happy? Joyful? I'm going to have a smile? That doesn't make sense. Now we come to what? The B clause. Because the writer knew that you would have that question. Wait, what? They'll be covetous because the things that I have should be enough? What? Why is that? I don't have enough. Obviously, I'm coveting over this person because I feel like what? I ain't got enough. If I thought I had enough, then I wouldn't care what that person had. Don't do that. I wouldn't care what that person has. But because I do care what that person has, I feel like what? I ain't got enough. But here's the B clause. For he, which is God, himself said, I will never leave you, nor what?
Forsake you.
That's the B clause. You can be happy with what you got because God, what? Gave it to you. He gave you. He could have given you what? Nothing.
Thank God. Thank God.
When you look over at your neighbor and say, I don't have that house, you should be more happy that I'm not over here with no house. That's also an option, right? No house is equally an option as the bigger house, right?
Yeah. That's true.
I don't want this food. But this food is better than the option of what?
No food.
But that's an option, right? No food
Yes.
is an option. Now, I've eaten out of a trash can. So I'll tell you, I understand when you're looking at the food and you're saying in your mind and your heart, what? I don't want that.
Yeah.
But then your stomach says,
You do.
you do. And you eat it, and it tastes just as bad as it looks. It tastes just as bad as it looks, and you just put it in you, and you're happy that you got food. Now, was that a happy moment? No. But God was what? With me. For he will never leave me or forsake me. That is where the joy comes in.
Yeah.
We were at a funeral of a very young lady. She was about 35, 36, 37. And the family was sad. But here's the thing. I can't tell you why people die. I can't tell you why people are in suffering and feeling pain. I can't tell you the answer to those things. Sometimes God will reveal it to me, but sometimes he doesn't. Because it's not for you to know. It's not for me to know. But we have to believe as Christians that what? God is in control. That God, even in this time of pain and suffering, he is moving you through this season to the other side. Turn with me to Deuteronomy. If we look at Deuteronomy, we'll go to chapter 32. Chapter 32. All right. In Deuteronomy, Moses is getting the people ready to cross over into the next, into the promised land. Losing it. I'm losing it today.
Oh, you good, Pastor, you good.
So, I'll just tell you about it because I can't really find it right now. I'm losing it.
That's okay.
In 32, Moses is getting, Deuteronomy 32, Moses is getting ready to cross the people over into the promised land. But Moses is also saying, I'm not going to go with you. I'm not going to go with you. I'm going to send you, but I've gone as far as I can go. Moses then says to his people, but do not be afraid. For why? God is going with you, and God has gone there before you. Meaning, God has already walked those steps before you even reach the promised land. God has already walked those steps. And really, He has got you by the hand like a small child, and He's leading you into the promised land. He was with you, feeding you manna, while what? You were in the desert.
Yes.
Why would He leave you now in the promised land? He was with you in the desert. He will be with you, but the promised land isn't easy. The promised land is filled with milk and honey, but it's also filled with what? Giants. You think it's just going to be handed to you? Do you think that God is just going to allow you to just have this and not have to fight for it? Why would that be? Where's the testimony in that?
Yeah.
Where's the triumph in that? It's when you have to fight that you truly understand the meaning of having it. I had a hard time getting through college. All three of them. Each time, once the degree was granted, it meant more than a piece of paper. It meant that I had survived the 4 years, the 3 years, the 5 years to get through to the other side. You found it?
Yes.
Not finding it. So, that is the concepts that we are having. What I want you to think about, what I want you to really see here, Psalm 31 verse 6. Be strong and of good courage. Do not fear, nor be afraid of them. For the Lord your God, He is the one who goes with you. He will not leave you, nor what? Then Moses called Joshua and said to him in the sight of all of Israel, be strong and good of courage, for you must go with this people to the land which the Lord has sworn to their fathers to give them.